Howdy guys, Ollie Single, and this is Single Reviews. These reviews are the one review you'll need. I won't spoil anything, I'll give you a basic idea of the plot, and I'll tell you whether or not you should spend your money seeing it in the cinema, or just wait for it to stream. This week's film is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino's ninth film, and he plans on only making 10, so that means we've only got one left after this. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood better be good, and it is. Now if you're like me, you'll be a massive fan of Quentin Tarantino. You can go back and watch films like Reservoir Dogs and they feel like they would have been made yesterday. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is an interesting title for a film, especially as Tarantino in his most recent work has created fairy tale worlds where the story may be true up to a point, but then the ending is something we wish would have happened in real life. Just look at Inglourious Bastards. We all wish that a load of Nazis had died like that. This film has a stellar cast. Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, and a whole lot of cameos by super famous people. Even Damian Lewis makes an appearance as Steve McQueen randomly for about 2 minutes. The one cameo I didn't see was Tarantino, who always appears in all his films, so I'll have to keep my eyes open for that when I go back and see it again. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is set in 1969 Hollywood. The studio system is slowly being taken out, stars are being changed, and it's becoming a much more fast-paced machine. Rick Dalton, Leo's character, has a dwindling career. He was once a star on a hit Western TV show, and now he does bit parts and cameos where he basically plays the bad guy for new heroes to beat up and launch their career. Brad Pitt, or Cliff, his stunt double, basically sits around doing nothing. He's his driver, he fixes things around the house, and Rick, when he can, tries to get him work. Cliff really doesn't do a lot. Has an amazing scene where he gets sent home by Rick to fix the TV area on the roof. Scene where he's just thinking and looking into the distance, when back in the day and he was on a movie set with Bruce Lee and he challenges him to a fight. A scene that really doesn't have much point, but actually it's incredibly good at telling us a bit more about the character. As we explore the lives of these two, there's an underlying thread that's weaved in throughout. Cliff keeps on seeing this hippie gal who's obviously part of this weird cult, but then it really hits a higher note when he explores that situation even more and ends up giving her a lift, and then eventually goes down to the ranch where this whole cult is embedded. There's something about a large group of slightly hypnotized people that really kind of freaks you out. This will make more sense when you watch the film and there's the scene with Ginge and then you see her again in a car, and it's very, very creepy. That build up of that last element of the film has really stayed with me. Margot Robbie doesn't really have a lot to say in this film, especially the first half. We explore her character a little bit, we understand what she's doing in her movie career. Sharon Tate was an interesting actress, but I can't pick out one movie that I would recommend anyone go back and watch. We learn about her relationships with her friends. We see she's quite an open, happy person and is kind of living up in this Hollywood world of music, parties, and just living free. Now, the first half really doesn't connect things up that well. You kind of just live in this world of great little stories. And now, the plot might sound a bit disjointed and odd, but the second half of this film is where things really come together. The connections become more apparent and we see where things are turning and twisting. I'm not going to spoil anything because I think that's a waste of time, but you really understand how these connections are made in the second half. Tarantino's ability to drop breadcrumbs throughout the film suddenly come together and we have this beautiful fresh loaf. The last half an hour of this film is something that will wipe you off your feet. Now, it's only at this point where the film hits that really gory aspect that, frankly, we all expect from his films. One scene in particular will shock you. It'll shock you in a good way. Sometimes in his films, Tarantino wants the viewer to feel satisfied. What we end up seeing, we all wish had happened. That's why when you see the gore and the explicit violence, you kind of go along with it, and actually you sit there going, yeah, they deserve it. Now, one thing you have to love about Tarantino is the detail he goes into on every single film he creates. He creates pockets of stories and little worlds that are told throughout the movie, taking you onto these random little journeys, but each of those could be an entire film by themselves. You want to see more, you want to learn more, and we probably will when Tarantino releases his 4-hour special on Netflix. Now, this film isn't short, it's 2 hours 45 minutes, but Netflix have agreed to host the director's cut, which is going to come in at about 4 hours, and to be honest with you, I'm just excited. My wife, who would normally say something about the length of a film, we left after 2 hours and 45 minutes, and She said didn't feel long at all. In fact, I'm sure she probably could have sat through another half an hour. Yes, some people might say it's too long. Yes, some people might not quite understand the plot and how everything connects together. So, my overall thoughts. This film is incredible. 9 out of 10. Not a 10 out of 10 because nothing's perfect. It's so well done. I would say go and see it. Go and see it now. Make the time, make the effort, and stick around to the end because you won't be disappointed. I even heard a story of people walking out halfway through. That's a mistake. If you really can't make the cinema, if you've got Netflix, which everyone has, there'll be a 4-hour version on there. And I think most people will want to watch it all the way through. Thanks for sticking around with me, guys. This is Ollie Single and Single Reviews.
Hey! You're Rick fucking Dalton. Don't you forget it.